Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited because we're going to do something very different today, and I'm really excited to share. If you've been here before, you know who I am. I'm Olivia S. Benson, and I'm the author of this lovely pink book, For the Love of My Father. And I talk about basically healing from the absence of a father and making a new life. And of course, it's the time of year where we're all trying to do new things, get better, think about our mental health, our spiritual health, and our physical health. And so I make this almond milk, and my friends think it is amazing. So I decided to do a video about it. And it has a secret ingredient that makes it thick, delicious, and super nutritious. So today I'm going to share my secret recipe for delicious homemade almond milk. Again, I'm Olivia S. Benson. You guys know the book, For the Love of My Father. And I thought this cup was right on point. I'm willing to do the work to be whole. So today, you're going to learn to do something new if you've never done it before. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. So, some of you might be wondering, why almond milk? Let me say a few things. First of all, I drink cow's milk from time to time. If I go somewhere and that's all they have, that's what I have. Obviously, I would prefer to have organic and pasture raised and, all the different things that go with it. But if I go somewhere and they don't have almond milk or homemade almond milk, I'm not going to have a connection. I can have cow's milk. Also, before I got into drinking almond milk, I was really into goat's milk. Not the same as fresh goat's milk, because once I did have fresh goat's milk, and it's completely different from obviously what we get in the supermarket. So I don't have any bias against milk from cows or other animals. I can have it. It's delicious and appropriate. I came to almond milk though because the amount of milk that we need, like people drink milk in their coffee every day. We use milk sometimes in smoothies and a lot of different things. And I wanted to have a kind of milk that didn't have a lot of animal fat. And the thing is, once you get the skim milk, you're losing a lot of nutrition. So I didn't want to do skim milk, and I didn't want to do 2% milk, but I felt that if I went to a vegetable-based milk, it would be okay. Then I started buying almond milk, the ones from the supermarket. And then one day I read the ingredients and I just couldn't believe what was in it. And then people were making jokes on the internet. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but people were making jokes about the fact that, like a half gallon of almond milk has like 2 almonds in it. So I started to do some research and things like that, and I found out that, really the best is homemade. Obviously, we don't always have the time, but the ingredients in the store-bought almond milk are not always the greatest. There's some out there that are good. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but for me, homemade has made the absolute difference. So what I'd like to do next is talk about the ingredients. So the ingredients. This is the brand of almonds that I use. It's available on Amazon, and I will include the link so that if you want to try these, you can. Now, when I started getting this brand, they had some almonds that actually had the flavor of butterscotch, and I really don't know. I've called the company and I've asked a few times, but they've never really answered what happened to the other smaller, kind of more flavorful almonds. So that's a puzzle in my mind, because they just sort of switched and these became the almonds, but they're good, they're organic, they're regeneratively farmed. So everything good that you can imagine. And I think the price is one of the best, because I've been through selecting different ones over the years, the last few years, and this one's ended up being, my choice for the moment. So this is a good brand. Now, the one thing you need to know is that, and I'm going to save you time, because when I started, I had to figure out a lot of things and you make mistakes. But obviously, when you listen to one of these videos, you want to save time and learn from other people. you have to soak your almonds. Usually overnight is ideal. One thing, if you soak it overnight, these are mine soaked. If you soak it overnight, it has to be soaked in the refrigerator. Why? Because if you leave it out, the almonds actually start to spoil because they're organic, there are no preservatives, nothing in them. So the spoilage process is going to start overnight. So what I do is when I'm doing it overnight is I put them to soak and I put them in the refrigerator. Whatever number of hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever, when I come back, they will be soaked, but I also know that they are well preserved. Now, if you don't have the time or you just need some almond milk quickly, because sometimes I need to make almond milk to put it in something else. So you need it quickly. It's not going to be the one you drink. It's just for something else. Sometimes for ice cream, sometimes for, I've used almond milk to make clam chowder and it's delicious. Maybe I'll do that for you guys one day. So if you need it quickly, what I have done is I've used warm water. So if I use, if I use warm water or slightly hot water, that means that the process of making the almonds softer and releasing whatever it is that they need to release is going to happen quicker than in the 8 to 10 hours. And I've used that well, and it's been successful. The almonds do get softer and they do absorb the water, so it works well. So normally what I do is so for example, today I'm going to make this almond milk, and immediately I'm going to put 2 cups of almonds to soak, so that whenever I need another batch of almond milk, they would already be in the refrigerator soaked. It doesn't matter if it soaks more than 1 day or more than 24 hours, they'll be in there and that'll be fine. So remember, it needs to be soaked. That is important. There's some blenders and things that say that they don't need to be soaked, but in my process, they do need to be soaked. The other thing that's important is the sweetener. You don't have to have sweetener in your almond. There's no sugar in this almond milk that I'm going to make. It is sweetened with dates, and here they are. These happen to be medjool dates. Let me raise my hand again. These are medjool dates. I buy them at Costco, and they are delicious. They're sweet. They're healthy. These happen to be organic. And by the way, I want to say this because there were many times in my life where organic was outside the scope of what I could do. And I just want to say to you, do the best that you can. If you can't buy organic at the moment, then buy the best that you can. And that applies to the almonds, to the dates, anything on the table. Do the best you can right where you are. And don't worry about having every little thing that everybody on YouTube or TikTok or whatever has. Just you do what you can to the best of your ability. So these are medjool dates, and they're delicious, and they're different kinds of dates that you can buy. They're all basically going to be a sweetener, and they will make the milk not sugar sweet, but it will not be completely flat as far as sweetness is concerned. Some people like to add maple syrup. There was a time when I added maple syrup. I just don't think it's necessary. And if you want really some additional sweetener, you could of course add your maple syrup when you're making your tea or you're making your coffee. So that's that. The other ingredient is vanilla. Whatever vanilla you have is fine. This is a very natural, alcohol-free vanilla. I love it. It's, absolutely delicious. And it is on Amazon, and it will be in the link along with the almonds that I also use. Another thing is you will need some salt. And this happens to be Himalayan salt. I buy this one at Costco. Any Himalayan salt will do. I just happen to use this one. Now, there are two secret ingredients, and I am going to wait to tell you what those are until, when, not until, but when we get ready to put the ingredients in. But basically, my whole theory is when you're eating something, when you're buying something, you're supposed to be able to read. There's salt, there are dates, there's vanilla, there are almonds. 4 ingredients that you recognize in plain English. That's what we're looking for. If you look at your almond milk and there's a whole list of other things that you don't really recognize, now we're having an issue as far as I'm concerned. So I've washed my almonds. They were soaking overnight, and they're ready to go. You'll notice they get kind of puffy the longer they sit in the water. And also that when they're finished soaking, there's kind of like a little, I don't know how to describe it, but there is some, it looks almost like a creamy substance that comes off, sometimes a little bit dark, that comes off the almonds. And so I get rid of that first set of water, and then I rinse it before I get ready to go. Now, this is 2 cups of almonds. I showed you the brand, and we put the 2 cups to soak overnight. I like to do it in 2 parts just to make sure that everything gets blended properly. So basically, I should have 1 cup of almonds in this cup, and to that 1 cup of almonds, I'm adding 4 cups of water. Very important. You can put 3 cups of water if you like, right? You can put 2 cups of water if you want really rich, creamy, and thick almond milk. And sometimes when I use it for example, if I want to use it to make clam chowder, I'll make it thicker so that it's more of a cream than a milk. But for purposes of the milk, I use 4 cups of water to 1 cup of almonds. Now, the secret ingredient. And there are a couple of different ways you can go. So for example, I use sea moss. And you can see it right there. That's sea moss. Now, I've basically prepared it. There's one that's on Amazon. There are a couple that are on Amazon, but you can buy it, you can soak it. Some people sell the gel, any number of things that, that are available. So you can do that. I use this one, which I prepare basically from scratch. And I use a 1/2 cup of sea moss for the whole mixture. I'm doing it in 2 parts, but this will be for the whole mixture. And that goes here. Okay, now there are some people that would use this, and sometimes my husband likes this collagen, so this is an option as well if you want to use this. This is the brand we use it for a number of different things, but it's New Zealand collagen, and you can use it in a similar way. These are the 2 ingredients that can make your almond milk absolutely creamy, delicious, rich, and not only that, but it is super good for your nails, for your hair, for your skin, your bones, your ligaments, everything. Collagen is really super amazing. And I'm not an expert on any of these things, but one of the things I'm going to do, because a lot of people are searching for answers about health and nutrition, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put links to the people that I listen to about different things related to health and nutrition. Like, for example, I listen to Dr. Bobby Price, I listen to Dr. Berg, I listen to Dr. Lee. So I'm going to put the links in the video so that you can go over and check them out, because we need answers. A lot of people are looking for answers, and there's a lot of information out there. The thing is, where's my cup? The thing is that you really have to be willing to do the work. this is my cup. It's available on my website and it applies to everything. You have to be willing to do the work. So if you're looking for answers to health, making almond milk, I think is a big step. It's a good step. And if you can make it, if you have the time to make it homemade, that's amazing. But there's so many things that you can do to improve your health. And I think the collagen, which is my secret ingredient, is amazing. My husband loves it because it makes the milk thicker, so it's not as watery as traditional almond milk. So you should absolutely, you will absolutely enjoy it if you love almond milk. So here I have my dates. I have the almonds in the 1 cup of almonds with 4 cups of water. And now I have my dates that I've chopped. You know, one thing you should remember is that these anyway have seeds. So you have to take the seeds out. Another thing that I want to remember to say to you is that, you need to check with your doctor if you have allergies to almonds or nuts. This is not for you. Also, if you can't process certain kinds of proteins, this is not for you. So please make sure if you have any conditions that you think require you to be careful, check with your doctor. I'm just sharing with you what I do. I'm not giving any nutritional or medical advice, just telling you what works for me. So here are the dates. They've been seeded and I've chopped them. So here they go in. You know also that in here is a 1/2 cup of the sea moss, which for all practical purposes is pure collagen. An interesting thing about this milk is that when you first make it, it's pretty, it's thin. It's not very thin, but it's thicker than traditional milk, but it's not thick. But as you leave it in the refrigerator, it gets thicker, and it becomes, you can tell that the sea moss is in there. So this is ready, and I'm going to bring out my Vitamix. So here's the Vitamix, the big part of the machine. I'm putting this on it, and I'm going to spare you the noise. And I put it on there, and I'll be right back. Okay, so look at what we have here. We have almond milk. And what I wanted to tell you is that I run it at full speed for anywhere between 1 and 2 minutes. I think it's important because it has the dates in it. It has the dates in it, and we want to make sure that we get as much. I hate wasting, so to speak, almond milk. So I'm trying to get everything I can get out of it. My husband laughs because I'm like trying to, use a spatula to take out every last drop. But I mean, the things are so valuable that I really want to have everything that I possibly can. So here it is. Now remember, this is only half. This is half of the almonds with 4 cups of water. So in the next batch, I'm just going to do the other cup of almonds and 4 cups of water. Everything, and that other batch will also have 4 dates, but there will be no more collagen, no more sea moss, so to speak. All the sea moss is in this first batch, and that was 1/2 cup of the sea moss. So this is the thing. I use this strainer because it helps to hold the bag. This is the bag. I've had many bags. These are the best. They'll be in the link from Amazon. And when I'm done with it, I wash them thoroughly in hot water. Sometimes I put it in the machine. I do all kinds of different things to make sure that they're clean and sanitized. But these are effective. So what we're going to do is pour the almond milk in this bag while it sits on this strainer. So here we go. Now, you don't need the strainer. The only reason I'm using the strainer is because I can get the bag to sit in it and drain. So if I wanted to just let it drain and sit here and I could do something else, then I'd be able to do that. That's the reason for the strainer. But if you are just going to do it by hand right away, all you do is you just hold the bag and you keep pressing it out. And this whole process of making almond milk, after you've done it a few times, it should not take you more. If it took you 30 minutes, it would be a lot. And I make a half a gallon per time. I used to make a gallon at a time, but I also want to tell you while I'm squeezing this that, it's very organic, it's very natural, it has no preservatives, so it will spoil very, very quickly. In fact, I keep most of it in our outside refrigerator, which is very, very cold, because we lost several batches by just keeping it in the inside refrigerator because it wasn't cold enough. The other thing that's important with regards to this is that that's one of the reasons it needs salt. Not a lot of salt, and the salt helps, of course, to bring out the flavor of the dates, but the salt also serves as a preservative. So don't play. After you do all this work, make sure that you take care of the milk. Make sure that you put it in the right place in the refrigerator. If you don't have an outside refrigerator, then you need to make sure it's in the back of the refrigerator, or whatever part of your refrigerator is the coldest. That's where it needs to stay, so that you preserve it for as long as possible. The other thing, and I'll share that shortly, is, for example, if it's one person, or you just don't drink that much almond milk, you can make a smaller batch. I actually have what is that? One of those cow machines. I'll show it to you guys in a little bit. But I have one of those, but I did not use it for long because I couldn't make as much as I wanted at a time. It was a small batch. I probably will sell that one. If anybody is watching when I show it to you, it will be, I think it's Almond Cow. That's the name of it. I said the cow machine, but it's Almond Cow. So if anybody's interested, I used it for maybe a month. So, I will sell it at a very, very reasonable price if you're interested. And, like I said before, everything is a learning process. So we've been through a number of different kinds of almonds, different kinds of vanilla, for example, and the collagen, the sea moss, is just my latest invention. So this is batch 1, and I'm going to put this into the next strainer. Hold on one second. Let me do this right now so you see. So this is you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. This strainer is enough. I like to do this. It's on Amazon. It'll be in the link. You put this on here and you run it through here. The reason that I don't use this as the first strainer is because the trash from the almond milk will sit in here and make your life difficult. But if you run it through for the second time, I don't know if you guys can see it, the almond milk went right through, and that was that. And we have one more thing that we use. I don't know where it is. Let's see. I have a little thing. So if you notice, there still is sort of like a little bit of something thick in here. And so you can use this and you press it right through. And that's that. And so here we have what should be probably more than, that's another thing that happens, right? If you put 1 cup of 4 cups of water, you should get probably a little bit more, or sometimes a little bit less of the liquid. So this is part 1. This is completely done, and I'm going to put it in here because in this container I will add our vanilla and I'll add the salt. So, okay, I'll be right back with the second batch. All right, wanted to make sure that you guys understood something. This is 1 cup of almonds with 4 cups of water. It also has a half a cup of the sea moss, and it has 4 dates. That if you wanted to do that and end, I guess you could. But I want you to understand that the 2 cups is going to make more than half a gallon, and that the half of cup of sea moss is for the whole portion. Okay, so all I'm doing here right now is I have the rest of the almonds, the other cup, and another 4 cups of water. Remember, you can make it as thick or as thin as you like. And I cannot tell you enough about how good this is for your nails. These are my nails, and they're not polished or anything. They're just, I just wear them simple, light colors most of the times, not always, but a lot of times. And also the biggest thing about this that I love, in the morning, I will have a smoothie, 8 ounces of a smoothie that I make, and I have about 16 ounces of almond milk matcha or almond milk coffee. Now, that breakfast, which usually happens maybe around 8 a.m. or something along those lines, because of the amount of nutrition and the oil in the almond milk, I probably do not eat until 2 p.m. I literally feel satiated. I'm not thinking about food between my berry smoothie and my almond milk matcha or my almond milk coffee. I am completely full. The other thing that I want you to know is that if you're doing keto, you don't have to use the dates. You can use whatever keto sweetener you're using, whatever keto sweetener you're using, or you can use nothing at all. I myself, I'm not on keto. I've tried it. I like it. I think it's an important part, especially if you're dealing with certain kinds of health issues, diabetes and things like that. I think it's a good reset, but it's not something that I do regularly. Low carb, yes. Keto, no. So you do not have to put dates in this. And I want you to remember that the almond milk has a number of benefits. So here's the other cup with the other 4 cups of water, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the blender. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we've done part 2 on the Vitamix. I ran it at the highest level at 10, and I did it for 2 minutes just to be on the safe side. Like I said, I like to make sure everything is properly blended so I can get the max out of it. So it was 2 minutes on the Vitamix. So now we're going to do the same thing. And by the way, before I do that, let me say to you that this is what's left over when you take the liquid out of the ground almonds. And I can't even tell you how many videos there are on the internet about what to do with this. You can make flour, you can make cookies. In fact, I think my husband's niece came to visit and we made cookies. I think I forgot it. Was it oatmeal cookies with this? There's so many things you can do. So it doesn't have to be wasted. I'm just not going to get into that right now, but it's still super nutritious and very useful. So here goes part 2. And I hope that if you decide to make this almond milk, that it's a fun process for you. It shouldn't be a job. I think it's, food should be made with love, and also knowing that, you're taking care of your health. Like when you're cooking, you're taking care of your health. When you're making your food, you're taking care of your health. You're taking care of your family's health. So I hope it's not just a chore. It should be fun. It can be made fun. I mean, sometimes I know people who say, oh my God, no, I don't cook. And I'm thinking, well, what do you do? Because, You know, if you're eating out every single day for every single meal, unless you're spending a lot of money, it's not certain what exactly you're eating. And it is an act of love to cook. And I think, for example, that some women feel like, women were made to do things in the kitchen for such a long time that now we don't. But the thing is that now we get to do it of our own choice. So it's much different than what happened before. And also, there are a lot of guys that are the cooks in the family. The thing is that you learn to do it at home so that you and your family can be as healthy as possible. So this is part 2. Look at this. We got some delicious almond milk. These are just my usual Rubbermaid containers. I don't mind using these for this. It's plastic. It's they're decent for these kinds of things. I don't use them to store food. I'm just using them for this process. And this goes in here just to take out. And look, it does leave. This is actually, you can see a little remnant of the ground almond. The finest part is left. Now, some people like to leave it in because it makes the milk thicker. So your decision. All right, so we're almost done. Look at that. We are almost done. So now only 2 things are left. One is we are going to put the vanilla. As I told you, whatever vanilla you have, whatever vanilla you're comfortable with, that is fine. For this amount, which is basically about half of a gallon, you can use more, you can use less. You don't have to use vanilla. Some people don't want the vanilla flavor. I happen to love it. But it's your choice. So 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And then, again, you don't have to put salt, but it is important for preservation. I use 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay? And that's that. Then all we have to do is stir it. Let me rinse this off. All we have to do is stir it and stir it well, because if not, the salt will stay on the bottom. Okay, so then the last thing that I want to share with you is storage. These are my bottles. They're glass bottles because those are better, generally speaking, than the plastic for storage and things along those lines. So these are the ones that I use. So we have the glass bottle. I'm going to use my funnel. Sometimes I'll just put the bottle in the sink and pour the milk in it, but I want to show you how to do it in a way that's easy for you and that would avoid any incidents or accidents. And so we'll do it this slow way. Now, I think I got it down to the point where I can just pour it in here without having any problems. Now the bubbles will go down and you can of course put more in it, but here it goes. That's 1. And notice that I actually end up with a little bit more than I thought, because then you think you're gonna get, because you put in basically 8 cups of liquid and just a little bit more comes out, because that is 64 ounces. Of course it has bubbles on the top, but we have this amount. So we have 2 bottles. I'm gonna get a glass so I can try it and see what I think about this batch. Okay, I have my glass and here we go. Homemade almond milk with sea moss. That is good. And I'm not just saying it because I made it. It's thicker than usual. I can taste the dates and I can taste the vanilla. And this makes a delicious matcha, which I wanted to share with you. This is a matcha that I make. I drink matcha at least 4 times a week in the morning. And also the other thing that I do is I make a cold brewed coffee. Hold on one second. A cold brewed coffee. So this is coffee. I'll ground it. I'll buy the beans, ground the coffee, and just put it in some water and let it sit out. Sometimes in the refrigerator, sometimes on the counter. And then during the week, I have either coffee or I have matcha. I hope this has been interesting for you and fun for you. I hope that you will dare to make this recipe. If you're not an almond milk person already, I hope you'll consider it for your health, for your nutrition. And the most amazing thing about it, and I just started doing it recently, is adding the sea moss, which is essentially collagen. It's done wonders for my nails, it's done wonders for my skin, and it does wonders for my hair. And you guys know I'm Olivia S. Benson. This is my book, For the Love of My Father. My new book is coming out shortly. It's Answers from Within. It's the second edition of that book. And I look forward to continuing to share with you. Please, if you like this video, share it, like it, subscribe to the channel, and I will be coming back with many new and interesting things. See you soon.